Hey, what's going on? Thanks for checking out the channel. It's Sean. You know, one of the things I get asked quite a bit is, being that you've spent your life as a professional musician, would you do it over? In other words, what if I could go back and do it all over again, would I do it the same way? And that's an interesting question, and I'm going to delve into that right now, so stick around. Would I do it all over again today exactly like I did it? And by that I mean, would I choose this life of a singer-songwriter slash troubadour slash musician, and would I do it the same way? And I really had to think about that, because while I have enjoyed my life, and I don't think it could have turned out, as far as the path goes, any other way, I might have made some different choices, and I don't really like to play that game of woulda, coulda, shoulda. But since I've been asked by so many different people, and I think it might benefit some of you younger musicians, I'm going to answer the question. Now, as far as would I choose not to be a musician or an artist, I don't believe that it's possible for me to have chosen any other path. Being an artist, a songwriter, and a musician is really all I ever wanted to do, aside from being in the Army, being a soldier when I was younger, which I did do. I was in the Army, and I did get a medical discharge. I blew out my shoulder. So it is what it is. As soon as I got out, I went right back to playing music. Now, what would I do differently? Well, first let me just say that being an artist is not a choice, it's a calling. And when you're called on the level that I was called, I simply couldn't think of anything else but my art and my music. All I did was play, write songs, and when I fell into performing for money, which is primarily another way of saying cover music, which I have a hard time recommending, but I also have a hard time recommending against for some reasons, I took the opportunity because I couldn't figure out any other job that I could make as much money for as little time working. And I needed all the rest of my time to write songs and work on my music. So that's why I did it. I fell into that. However, that colored a lot of the other choices that I made. That set me in motion on a path that I otherwise probably wouldn't take had I not started performing covers. And I remember it was a quote by John Mayer, and he said that he's glad that he really didn't have the vocal range to sing a lot of covers, because that forced him to really hone in and concentrate on his own career for his own material. And so with time to reflect upon that, that's probably the better choice. That's probably what I would have done. Had I had the foreknowledge of how things would work out, that's the path I would have chosen. I was always trying to get to the point where I could do only my own music. You know, I could retire from playing covers and concentrate only on my own stuff. And while I did do some touring only on my own albums and only on my own songs, put out albums and did things like that, and wrote songs in Nashville and things like that, I didn't spend the majority of my career working only on my own stuff towards the end of having a career based upon that until I was like 40, because I was always having to make a living and make money. And that was a compromise that I had to make. And it always made me choose certain paths that I would not have chosen had I not had to make the compromise to be able to play music and make money. What I probably would have done is gotten out of the Army and immediately, this was 1991-ish, I would have probably gotten out and immediately moved to LA, where some of my friends were living, and it was still a thriving rock and roll scene at the time. They were playing local shows, they were getting signed, they were doing tours, things like that, which may have led me to Nashville earlier, or touring, or Europe, or some other thing like that. So beyond that, I'm not gonna really try to comment or pontificate on woulda, shoulda, coulda, how my life would have worked out. My life is my life. I love my wife. I love my family. I love my life. And it would never have turned out this way if I had made different choices. I love the fact that I've traveled all over the world. I've played in a lot of places all over the world. I love the fact that I've lived in certain places that I've lived and had the experiences I have had. But at an earlier age, I probably would have just not done the cover music. I probably would have just like I did, still concentrated on my own music, did whatever kind of crappy job I could etch out some money, probably lived a little bit more uncomfortably with more roommates and things like that, and less financially secure. Maybe I would have done some kind of nighttime security or something so I could still write songs at night or something like that. But if I had to choose over, I absolutely would not have chosen to play covers for a living. Even though I made a lot of money, I was always frustrated because I was not making a living based upon my own artistic output. Yes, it was my artistic interpretation and my singing and playing that made me money, but I fancied myself an artist. I always wanted to be a writer, an artist and a singer, and I wanted people to come see me for me. And I always had a few, fans here and there that liked my material and they came out to see me. But I was playing clubs, man. I was playing cover music. I was playing the popular stuff of the time. I was playing stuff that I grew up on and I loved. And eventually my whole list revolves around stuff that I like, because I just can't play stuff the 10,000th time that I hate. So that's what I do now. So if I have any advice, and I have a lot of advice on this channel regarding this subject, do you, concentrate on you, and only concentrate on you. Do not muddy the water playing other people's music for money. Even though it's quick money, even though sometimes you can make a couple few $100s when you're lucky to make 20 bucks at an original show. So what? Tough it out, bust your butt, and play your own music only. Work on your own stuff and work on your own career. That's my biggest regret. That's what I would have done differently. Anyway, I hope you got some value out of that. My name's Sean Mormelo. I'm the only one in the world, for better or for worse. That's just a little Troubadour Philosopher nugget there for you. So hope you got some value out of it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.